generic of a question as you can get, I guess. But obviously, SEC opener starter, you got Georgia. What's kind of your first impressions as you get the team and what you guys will be seeing?
Well, I've watched a number of their games. They're playing really well. Obviously, they're undefeated. Georgia, the thing that stands out the most is that they're great in their transition game, pushing the ball on offense, both on made and missed shots. They're coming at you so hard. They run the floor so hard. Wheeler's doing a fantastic job at the point for him, pushing the ball. I've got at least 8 or 9 clips of him just going coast to coast in different games, getting the outlet, getting all the way to the basket. He is really good in transition. He leads our league in assists per game. Kamara is playing great for him, sophomore from Belgium. That is a lefty. He's a really good player, really active. He's their leading scorer and rebounder. Really like his game. He can play for anybody in the country. He's good. And what they've done, though, they added 3 new players. They're all transfers. They're all, graduate transfer guys. They're older. They got a kid, Kier, Kier, from George Mason, who's their starting 2-guard, backs up at the point. Really a good player, 6'5", long, athletic. They have a kid, Garcia, that transferred from Stony Brook, who's originally a Dominican kid. That's very tough, hard-nosed. They won 20 games at Stony Brook last year. He was an integral part to that team. Really does a good job scoring around the basket. He's tough. I like the big transfer they have, P.J. Horn from Virginia Tech. He started every game last year at Va Tech. Shoots the ball well from 3, and he's their starting 5-man. So they've got a lot of pieces. They're playing a lot of guys. They play 8, 9 guys every game. Really play hard defensively. They have great chemistry, great unselfishness. They played Cincinnati at home, a week and a half ago and just demolished them. And Cincinnati, as we all know, is a very good program. So this is going to be a very formidable opponent, and we're going to have to play really well to have success on the road at Georgia on Wednesday.
Hey, Coach. So I remember one of the things you said before the season is that you're going to be playing a lot of guys who have never played college basketball before, and obviously you have that double overtime game against Dayton. How big is it to have a game where you get guys some experience down the stretch in that close situation before you open up conference play?
Well, we have done that now, and I think the 8 games we played has definitely helped us. It was obviously unfortunate we didn't get to play the initial 4 games that we had planned for our season, because that would have prepared us better for the Clemson Liberty tournament that ended up being the first 2 games of the year, unfortunately without Iverson. But that Dayton game was a good game, and bottom line is we make our free throws in that game, we win. We missed 3 front ends or 1-on-1s. I think we were 9 for 22 from the field. They had an 8 or 10 point lead at the half. It was a very disappointing loss, but hopefully we grow from that, and when we get into the next tight game, which I'm sure there'll be some, that we perform better.
Go ahead and get it to Paul Jones. Paul, go ahead.
Coach, you've talked a lot about this year about rotations and getting guys more minutes to rest some of your starters. Do you kind of see your rotation trimming down some now that SEC play is here, or are you still planning on playing 8, 9 guys?
I see us playing 8, 9 guys. Yeah, we're going to continue to do that. 5 on the perimeter and 4 up front, and I think our depth will help us. And sometimes foul trouble forces you into it, but I want to do it on a regular basis anyway. I think that we've got a good 9-man rotation that we can go to and keep everybody fresh. I mean, obviously, Iverson and DJ can continue to be up there in minutes played because of their productivity, along with Tolu and Abdul. Those guys are going to be our minute leaders, but we want to get everybody to be fresh, and we've got a grueling 19-game schedule ahead of us against really good teams night in, night out, and having stamina and keeping ourselves fresh will be very important to having success.
Paul, go ahead with your follow-up.
Along those lines that Joel asked about Georgia, what areas in particular do you think your team's got to do a good job of on Wednesday to come out with a win?
Well, we got to do a great job with our transition defense. They score a ton of points in transition on made and missed shots. That's number one. We got to do a great job blocking them out. They're fourth in the league in rebounding, right behind us in rebound margin. They're a very good offensive rebounding team. And then we've got to handle their changing defenses. They'll play some zone. They'll press a little bit. They'll trap out of some different zone looks. And then they really get after you with their man-to-man. So we've got to handle the ball, take care of the ball, make good decisions with it, try to get it inside, knowing that they're going to cover down and dig down on our bigs big time, because that's what they do every game. And if we can do those things, then we have a good chance.
We'll swing it back to Joel. Joel?
Ben, I know it's only been a couple of games that Jalen has been in the starting lineup, but just how, I guess, do you feel like the last couple of games and going into SEC play that has, if at all, changed your team? And I guess, do you feel like it's kind of, relieved some pressure on Cam a little bit to kind of come off the bench as a freshman as opposed to being the starting lineup every single night? Just how's that kind of shifted the dynamic the last couple of weeks?
I think what it's done is, having Jalen out there stretches the floor for the other players, because you have to be aware of him because he's such a good shooter. He's one of our best three-point shooters, and if he's open from three, as you saw in the last game, he hit 2 threes to start us off early in that game. So he does that. He brings, some stability in terms of experience, having logged a lot of minutes already at Division I level, both at St. Louis and at the University of Louisiana. And so, he's a smart player, and he's a good teammate, a good leader. And I think, there's no question that having him out there has been very helpful for us offensively in particular.
We have time for a few more. We'll get it back to Nick. Go ahead, Nick.
Hey, Coach, so obviously in the non-conference schedule, you played some tough teams, but as we know, conference play is a different beast, of course. I'm just curious, how do you treat preparation and talking to the guys before these games any different, or do you kind of prepare in the same ways you do non-conference?
We really do. That's why we start out preparing in the non-conference, so they get used to the routine and the system. The only difference is now we have more information on our opponents because they've played more games. Like the first 2 games of the year, we had nothing on those teams because they hadn't had any scrimmages, any exhibition games, nothing. Now you have more film that you can watch to give more, information to your players, and so that's helpful for sure, to have more information to draw upon to try to take advantage of. But in terms of how we do things, you're going over what they run offensively, what they do defensively, how we're going to attack things. It's been pretty much the same thing, throughout, the season. And our guys get used to it and get better and better at it.
We'll go ahead and wrap it up with Joel. Joel, finish us off.
Ben, I guess it'll be a long time till March. A lot of games, a lot of basketball to play between now and then. But I guess what all have you guys been told about how they'll, the committees and things will judge putting the 68 teams in the tournament and things? I'm sure everybody will play a different amount of games. Do you have anything in mind as far as what you feel like you guys need to do or need to accomplish in the conference season to put yourself in a good spot? Or?
Yeah, bottom line is, the teams that get in, I think, are going to be based more on their conference schedules this year than ever before, because teams have had to change their non-conference schedules because of COVID-related issues. That's one of the reasons I wanted to keep Clemson and Liberty, because I wanted to play against good teams and get ourselves a chance, knowing even though we had no lead up to those games, I still thought it was good for us. Same thing with Dayton. We were supposed to play Utah State on the 21st. They let us know less than a month out we couldn't play. We were going to play at Minnesota, and that didn't work out because of COVID issues. That being said, I think that the committee this year is going to have to they're going to have to trust the basketball people on that committee to make good judgments, and really base it, on how people are playing in their conference and how they're playing lately.